Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance. Rallying patriots worldwide. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's already the 5th day of January 2014 on this Sunday 2-hour transmission. And I have got masses of key news and intel as usual that's up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. I will not be here on Wednesday. I've got to go to my uncle's funeral in East Texas, Northeast Texas. And I was thinking about the fact that when my cousin died this year and my great uncle died this year, and then now my uncle died this year, and they're all going to be buried right alongside each other, that's more family funerals than we've had in a decade. I hope things just come in threes and this is the end of it. But I was reflecting on the men and women in these family plots that are out there that are buried there, and just how good and hardworking and smart and funny and honorable all these people are. Like my grandfather, Army Air Corps veteran, North Africa into Italy, and Normie. And I was thinking about my grandmother who's there, my father's mother. I was thinking about Pat Lynn, my great uncle that just died a few months ago, and the Army veteran he was, and then my uncle. And I was just thinking about, wow, I mean, people aren't like these folks anymore. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I just think about what good family I've got, how smart and strong and manly and honorable. And I just hope I can be as good as they are when they bury me 6 feet under. And I hope I can be a good father to my son and my daughters and raise them to be good people. Because I look out on the general public and they are so dumbed down. They are so dishonorable. I'm so worried about our society that's just been turned over to the very worst individuals. And it's only getting more insane. And we know the historical pattern we're going through. Very, very sad. I'm not going to talk about that anymore, but at some point I want to talk about everything our ancestors did to bring us to this point, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the fact that we're losing our soul, losing our humanity to the television, to the garbage that's sent over it, the weaponized culture, and then the fact that it's all done dishonorably by design by the globalists that are cheaters. They're in control of the world through fraud and Ponzi schemes and bubbles and fractional reserve banking and derivatives. And they know they've committed crimes. And so to stay in control, they would dumb down and poison culturally, but also physically, the entire population so they can be in charge of a giant pile of crap. As if they're going to get out of it, as if their children aren't going to be hurt by it. And then I realized from their writings, they don't even care. They think ugliness and dishonor is beautiful. Whereas many of us aren't perfect and we have our own evils, but we embrace the good. We admire the honorable. We want to be strong. We want to be truthful. We want to be accurate. There are those who are attracted to evil and darkness. And more I realize that it is a good versus evil situation. The people running things aren't just in control because they want the power. They want the power to bring down humanity. If the devil isn't real, he is real. These people are manifesting. These people come to kill, steal, and destroy. And I pray that God use me as a vessel to set my entire will and person against them and to give me strength and to give all of us strength to stand against this enemy. I am weak, but my God is powerful. Stay with us. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals. Guns will be taken, and no one will be able to be armed. We will take all guns.
For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city.
Global governance at last. Is it one world? The central bankers in charge. But aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do?
As for me, give me liberty or give me death!
Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
Thank you for joining us on this Sunday worldwide edition. It is the 5th day of January 2014, and we'll be live here for the next 2 hours as we are every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Don't forget the weekday broadcast, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. That's 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. I have a lot of obviously incredibly important news we're going to go over in a moment, but I tend to forget to do this as new affiliates come online every week. We want to welcome WKVL 830 AM and WNFZ 94.3 FM, the family. They are now airing the full lineup of the Alex Jones Show. We can be heard on both stations Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., and on Sundays live 5 to 7 p.m. If you would like to hear this broadcast on other stations, be sure and ask local AM and FMs to pick it up. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely essential that when you do hear us on AM and FM stations in your area, that you spread the word to other listeners at the grocery store, at the mall, at work, you name it. Now, again, my friends, there is a lot of news to cover and a lot of information to break down here today. Let me just do this. Let me try to just give you some of the stacks of news here. First off, Obama announces gun control actions. That's the New York Times headline from Friday. And this is the mental health move where government-controlled mental health operatives will then decide if you've ever had any type of depression, ever visited a psychologist, basically, and they gave you some designation so that your insurance would pay for it, you will have your guns confiscated. This has already begun in Massachusetts, California, New York, and other areas. They are coming to people's houses who in the 60s had PTSD in Vietnam, no criminal record. They're taking their guns. Grandpas can't buy their grandsons at 22. When they go to do the NICS system, this is the end run to confiscate the firearms. And here's our article at Infowars.com. Obama proposes executive orders for background gun confiscation. And then it goes through the entire United Nations treaty and how it's all called for. That article is at the top of Infowars.com. Here's another one. MSNBC associates Duck Dynasty gun line with mass shootings. We're going to play that clip coming up here in a few minutes. They freak out over the fact that, oh my gosh, it's semi-automatic rifles and handgun they're selling amongst shotguns. What a horrible, terrible idea. And the problem for them is that I happen to pull up two of the news articles. LA Times here, assault rifles are not heavily used in crimes. And it goes on to admit under 2% of gun crimes involve assault weapons. In fact, they are the most used gun in frustrating crime, the least used gun in committing crimes because they're not easily concealable and gangbangers don't even know how to use them. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? So there's the facts, but don't let facts get in the way. Colorado Democrats blame for $80 million hit to economy by pushing out gun manufacturers Magpul, which I have some of those for my 223s, M4s. So they're leaving, and that's the answer. Leave the areas controlled by the globalists. Look at what's happening in California. 90% of shooting rampages could be stopped by quick-thinking civilians. Experts say this in the Washington Times. The FBI's own law enforcement bulletin admits that basically the same thing Interpol's chief said a few months ago, that arming the citizens in mall shootings, you name it, is actually the answer to stop it. And that's what the statistics show. So, and again, it's the FBI's got good people in it. It's at the top that it's corrupt and bad. And so that's why you see the FBI's own crime statistics showing a 50+% drop in crime using guns since 1992. That's why you see them even admitting that more guns means less crime. It's just a fact. Mexico has taken all the guns, and they have the highest crime rate in the world as a country. For a city, it's Chicago has the highest crime rate in the world. Here it is, Reuters. 9 dead after attackers dressed as police enter Mexican prison to free cartel leaders. So there you go. They've taken all the guns for more than 80 years since Pancho Villa rose up. They've taken all the Mexicans' guns, and only the criminals and the government has the guns, just like Chicago. Mexico is one giant Chicago. Slaves are disarmed. First gun laws in this country were passed in the South by the Klan against black people. Fact. Does that stop MSNBC and even Fox Sports from saying, quote, the new Klan is the NRA? Does that stop them from last week on MSNBC calling Duck Dynasty a white supremacist culture of gun owners? That's what they're doing. They're saying if you own guns, you're racist. Really? What's that have to do with that? Well, I mean, I guess Hitler did take the guns from the Jews. I mean, I guess you could say it's racist in Nazi Germany to disarm a group you want to abuse. But again, don't let the facts get in your way. Let's go ahead and play a short clip here. Let's go ahead and play a clip from MSNBC where they demonize. And remember, the MSNBC has a tiny audience, but it's important to track what they do because they admittedly get talking points weekly from the White House through Media Matters, who admits that on record. And so what you're hearing is the literal voice of the criminal offshore banks that run the White House. So this is the establishment speaking when they continue to demonize and imply that the Duck Dynasty crew is going to be involved in some type of mass murder because the type of firearms they're selling are used in 2% or less of the crimes and are used in the majority of cases frustrating crime. Let's go to that clip.
Here's what we're hearing about the guns so far, that they're going to come, as we saw in the commercial there, in this camouflage design. The pistol and one of the rifles have military-style designs, which large-capacity magazines included, holding at least 25 rounds. What's your reaction to this news? Because obviously this family is looking to capitalize on what its company has already established, which is the successful commercial success it has, and now the fame that they get from the show. So isn't this just smart of them to partner this way?
Well, I think it might be. I think the thing that really shocks me about this, Thomas, is the fact that Mossberg is willing to go ahead with this business agreement and distribute these firearms in the wake of some of the really, quite frankly, heinous comments that Phil Robertson has made.
Right, that's enough.
Both the comments that everyone...
Let's be honest about what's happening. I've got articles coming up that we're going to get into today where code enforcement around the country are getting giant armored Iraq battle wagons. The surplus of Iraq is being given to code enforcers. 2 billion plus bullets have been bought, including hollow points that are illegal under the Geneva Convention to use in war. They are training to take on gun owners. We have an outside globalist force that's taken over, in their own words. That isn't rhetoric to demonize the controlled authoritarian left. That's what these people are. That's Obama's domestic security force, just as big and just as strong as our military. Coming up, we've got huge news on Al-Qaeda being globalist funded and more. Stay with us. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
And the tyrants and social engineers of old learned that they cannot defeat free humanity in a frontal assault. They may take over for a season, but the cadres of resistance and human empowerment build in the soil of tyranny and spring forth in that fertile ground. That's why the globalists target the culture and slowly destroy the morals. That's why the communist goals to bring down any nation are what you see being pushed by the so-called federal government today, that occupied criminal institution. Because to control a population, they must dumb it down. And that is the ultimate sin that the establishment is committing. Thank you so much for joining us on this live Sunday worldwide broadcast. Take heart, though, because sure, we're being targeted with fluoride in the water and GMO, all of it designed to destroy our genetics, dumb us down, make us more servile, as the White House science czar, John P. Holdren, openly admits in his own book, published 1974, Eco-Science. Free online if you want to read it. Because for whatever evil they come up with, free humanity will develop an answer to that. That's a law of physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But when the population becomes aware of the social engineering and realizes that it's not work to resist it, that it's empowering, that it's animating, that it's what your destiny is, we will begin to turn the tide. We've turned the tide of awakening. People are waking up, but they don't realize how deep the water is. They don't realize how serious the fight is. But it doesn't matter. The eyes opening and the mind opening, the third eye, if you will, is the beginning of the end of these tyrants that do everything they can to suppress true consciousness. Because the globalists themselves are spiritually blind. You would never dumb down your fellow man and cheat people and try to bring down civilization so you could rule it if you were truly enlightened. They have knowledge of control of humanity, but not the wisdom to see the incredible heights our species could reach together. Okay, I covered the demonization of the Second Amendment and Obama coming after folks claiming that if you've ever gone to the psychologist or psychiatrist and they've ever given you insurance funding, they just give you a designation, a diagnosis, many of which are complete frauds, out of hand to get you the insurance, your guns will be confiscated. And you will not ever be allowed to buy guns. It doesn't matter that the supposed mass shooter at the very fishy event in New Haven, Connecticut last December, not this December, December before last, I guess 13 months ago, It doesn't matter if he tried to get guns 5 times illegally and was on record as mentally ill, truly mentally ill, truly homicidal. It didn't matter if he was a ring wraith dressed in black. Didn't matter if he was a Satanist. Didn't matter if he was a Democrat socialist. Didn't matter if he was a shoot-'em-up video game addict. Everyone must be blamed for him now. Even though more guns means less crime statistically, the media can twist that and create the perception that even though there's less crime, there's more shootings. In fact, that was an LA Times headline from last year. Gun crime plunges as public believes there's more gun crime. Gun crime goes down as perception is there's more. That is the triumph of fraud over reality. Just like Obamacare, the bill said, death panels written by foreign insurance companies, lower quality, double, triple prices, force you to buy their product, total scam job, Republican leadership involved with it, supporting it and writing it. Even the main architect, the vice president's former chief of staff's brother, Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, says it's meant to bankrupt our country. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the facts are. The perception is it's a free deal, and you're racist if you don't like it. They found USA Today, not LA Times, but it's even, my numbers, we crunched, we were first to do this early last year when the new FBI Unified Crime Statistics came out from local crime data put together, and we said 51%, and the media later looked at it and agreed. The USA Today says, despite drop in gun crime, 56% think it's worse. And then it goes on to say it's a 75% drop in crime. My numbers are 51%. Okay, and actual injuries from guns. But whatever, I'm not going to argue with that. Bullet point, gun crime's dropping despite public perception. That's Fox News. People love the LA Times, though. That'll even wake up Democrats. The LA Times is gun crime drops, but public thinks there's more crime. I think's the headline. The point is that this is what we're dealing with. I mean, I'm not a Republican. I'm a patriot. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm an America, family, values, 1776 worldwide guy. My whole family going back to the Mayflower, both sides. I mean, if there is American royalty, I'm it. And a lot of you are as well. But I don't care if you got here a year ago. If you love liberty and love the family and the Second Amendment and the right to self-defense, you're just as American as anybody else. And I sit here and I watch people that are diametrically opposed to not just America, but the Magna Carta and the Renaissance and the Enlightenment and human liberty, and who are anti-individual. Man, anti-individual is a fraud. Anybody that's anti-individual, that's called pro-slavery. I'm for more rights, not less. And by the way, more rights builds a more diverse culture where you have more choices. You can decide what city you want to live in and what state and what church or not, or what business. More competition. Everybody knows that you go to New York City or downtown Austin, Texas, where it's incredibly high rent and incredible competition with the restaurants, you're not going to find a bad restaurant in those restaurant districts. Because let me tell you something, if they're not good, they're going to be out of business. If they're not excellent, they're going to be out of business. But you go to some one-horse town where they don't have any competition, it's going to be some dive bar scam where the food tastes worse than wallpaper. Look at Russia, people lining up every day to get one sausage or one little half loaf of bread. I mean, you want to live like that, where everything's a big welfare line, everything's run by establishment pimps who are exempt from the law, living in palaces, while you live in a 200-square-foot coffin Bloomberg apartment? I haven't gotten to the new NSA news or our government caught funding al-Qaeda news in a huge takeover in Iraq. It's all coming up after the break. We got a bunch of economic news and more. Stay with us. Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with Nascent Iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent Iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of Nascent Iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent Iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality Nascent Iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
We are going to open the phones up in the second hour. Coming up, we'll continue to track the news, get into the economy, and the persecution of people leaving the city, moving into rural areas by the new army, the federalized UN-run Agenda 21 armored vehicles from Texas to places like California that are arriving with SWAT teams for code violations on the first visit without warrants. See, when you're a tyrant, you just take some other office that's already unconstitutional, like code enforcement, and then you just militarize it. So we're going to be getting into that. But let me first get into the NSA developments and then tie it into this stack of news right here. Let me just give you these headlines, and then I'm going to tie it into the NSA, and then go back into the al-Qaeda news. Now, what's wrong with this headline out of the Washington Post today? Al-Qaeda-linked force captures Fallujah amid rise in violence in western Iraq. And I want to pull up for TV viewers that are watching on InfoWarsNews.com. I want to pull up in a moment Fallujah on a map of Iraq. I want to show people something in a minute. I'll describe it for radio listeners. Now, let's go to the next article. This is out of the official Chinese news. 55 al-Qaeda militants killed in western Iraq. And then they have a TV report. Here's another one, CNN. Kerry will help Iraq but won't send troops to fight al-Qaeda. That's today. Said that's Sunday. Okay. Here's another one. Iraqi army shells Fallujah to try to dislodge al-Qaeda tribes. Here's another one. Key Syria opposition bloc rejects Geneva talks, does not want peace in the country that neighbors Iraq, Syria, because al-Qaeda is the main group and they don't want peace. They want to burn every church and murder every Muslim that isn't a radical. Now, we're going to get to this in a moment. What's wrong with this picture in a moment? Iraqi army shells Fallujah to try to dislodge al-Qaeda tribes. Now, we're going to go back to that coming up in a few minutes. First, I wanted to hit this so you see how things tie together. Then we're going to go back to that. Here's this stack of news that I'm going to be going over. Secret court approves 3 more months of NSA phone snooping without warrants, total dragnet. They're retroactively approving actions that are felonies every time they do it, hundreds of millions of times a day, which they said they weren't doing earlier, but now they admit they're doing, but are having a secret court rule they can do it. Here's another one. U.S. court allows more phone snooping. That's Reuters. Here's CNN. NSA won't say whether it spies on Congress. Folks, how many times have I told you? They had Congress people 6 months ago came out and said they're being spied on. Everything they do is done by the opposition. And guess who has said this? Tea Party people. They're spying on anybody that's actually doesn't want to bankrupt the country and is half sane. Real constitutionalists that are being attacked by the Republican and Democratic leadership. I'm going to get to that coming up. But just understand that. What is Congressman Peter King, who was involved in funding the IRA, and again, I'm all for Irish independence, but the point is this is a guy who did it when it was illegal, and who has been calling to fund al-Qaeda in all over the Middle East. He's been backing the Muslim Brotherhood. This is a guy actually pushing for billions in funding to al-Qaeda out of Iraq and Jordan and other countries surrounding Syria. This is a guy who's actually in contact, like Senator the fellow that ran for president against Obama the first time, McCain, who went and posed with famous al-Qaeda leaders just last year, and it became a big scandal. Remember that? They're in southern Syria. Here's Peter King. He says NSA should monitor Congress in case they're talking to an al-Qaeda leader and involved with al-Qaeda. Now, here's one of the few members actually involved with real al-Qaeda, saying, part of the rogue bureaucracy, foreign bank run, foreign corporate takeover of America to gang rape all of us financially, saying we've got to spy on Congress, your lawmakers, to make sure they're not with al-Qaeda. What was said a year ago in the British press, they got caught spying on Parliament, the bureaucracy did, on the real government. The criminal bureaucracy spying on the real government said, well, we need to know if our government's involved with al-Qaeda. How asinine, when the real government is actually running al-Qaeda. So the people running al-Qaeda use the al-Qaeda threat to then say everybody else is a suspect but us, the real people running it. Our military's awake, though. That's the good news. And there's John McCain with not 1, not 2, but 4 al-Qaeda leaders on record. In fact, just search McCain meets with al-Qaeda leaders. They're actually meeting with al-Qaeda leaders. King's a big supporter of this, so there he is. So see, this is about the illegitimate government and the takeover government the coup government spying on anyone that might actually try to expose the tyranny. I had Congressman Walter Jones of North Carolina, veteran in his own right, on a few days ago during the week, and he said the 28 pages of the 9/11 report needs to be declassified. And I said, well, it has been in an end run. Seabell Edmonds and other NSA whistleblowers have gone public, and FBI whistleblowers, and it said that it was Saudi Arabia with elements of the CIA running the 9/11 attacks. And he said, yes, that's what it says. That was kind of a big deal when Jones, who's read it, he's on the Intelligence Committee, said, yes, that's what it says. He just wants it declassified so you can read it. Again, I'm not saying there aren't radical Muslims. Oh, there are. And criminal elements of the government are funding and protecting them and letting them take over Libya, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, because they run them. Do you realize how big this is? The military gets it because they fight these people, so they know all the groups. The general public doesn't know all the groups. I just got chills right there. So Rand Paul to lead class action lawsuit against Obama over NSA spying. Napolitano says no clemency for Snowden. Appeals court, again, says it's okay to keep their ruling secret. Blah, blah, blah. This is being used on the Tea Party, the Associated Press, the media, Fox News, Infowars.com, DrudgeReport.com. It came out, they have secret files at the TSA on DrudgeReport.com and Infowars.com. Former Congressman Bob Barr sued, and they wouldn't release the info. I had him on last year, actually 2 years ago. This is the real world, folks, okay? I live it, believe me. But this country's in a real fight. We have a chance to save this country. So now you see the connection. Criminal elements are running al-Qaeda, funding it with taxpayer money at Benghazi, giving them anti-aircraft, ground-fired missiles, shoulder-fired missiles, giving them chemical weapons, it now turns out. We've got Peter King coming out saying Paul doesn't deserve to be a senator because he would dare actually sue the NSA. He's a real senator. I pray for him when he gets on airplanes. I know Rand Paul. I've known him 16 years. He's the real deal. So there you go. They're saying we spy on you in the federal court rulings to protect the public from al-Qaeda. And then meanwhile, via Snowden and everybody else we know, they're spying on the media. They're spying on Tea Party. They're spying on churches. They're spying on pro-life groups. They're spying on libertarian anti-war groups. They're spying on anybody who's moral. The criminals have this technology that we paid for, and they make tens of billions a year in the contractor jobs and in the computer software to spy on us. And now they say, yeah, we should spy on Congress. They might be with al-Qaeda when Peter King is supporting al-Qaeda, who has now, let's put the map up, in the western city bordering Syria, which is on record to have al-Qaeda bases in Fallujah that then drive down the highway that its borders into Syria. And the U.S. and NATO have helped take that border region so al-Qaeda can infiltrate. And then meanwhile, they're sending them in out of Fallujah as the al-Qaeda training base, U.S. government funded, to then attack the sovereign government of Syria that attacked nobody and who were angels compared to al-Qaeda. I mean, al-Qaeda over Christmas blew up dozens of churches and mass murdered people all over, not just Syria, but the Middle East. And literally, John McCain, Barack Obama, Peter King the Turd are literally funding them while saying, give your rights up or al-Qaeda will get you. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Think of how dumb the globalists think you are, that they would openly fund al-Qaeda and turn the world over to them while using them as a domestic threat to then take your liberties and then demonize anyone like Rand Paul that points out what's admitted the NSA is being used for political domestic persecution and control. Congressman Peter King in the Hill newspaper just broke minutes ago, puffs up and says he doesn't deserve to be a senator. How dare him create a lawsuit against the NSA for violating the 4th Amendment. I mean, this is outrageous. It's like, how dare him feed poor children? How dare him help old ladies across the street? It's all part of the con game where they all act like we're keeping you safe. Meanwhile, they're all involved in it. They're dirty, fat, disgusting gangsters. Just like the Republican leadership, I've got stacks of that I'm going to in a minute, are doing everything they can to burn Libertarian Tea Party because they know it's the real opposition, the only hope politically. And they just hope we start getting physical because they can bring in all their tanks and have a civil war. The globalists are going to be offshore while that happens. They love it. We've got to try to avert this, ladies and gentlemen. But I tell you, when it's all said and done, people like Barack Obama, Peter King, the congressman, Senator McCain, they are the high-level front men of these offshore banks that did this, and they need to be brought to justice. Remember, when they tank the stock market, when they take your pension funds, when they take everything you've got, if you put up with this, this is who did it. And the media will have them up there acting like everything's okay and they love you and they care about you. The con game is biblical. Oh, sorry, the Secretary of State says, we can't send any U.S. troops, that, by the way, are still there, over 100,000 contractors, more than 20,000 U.S. troops. That's over 120,000. We can't send anybody Fallujah. Al-Qaeda took over the city. They're going to take over more areas. Because Saudi Arabia has a deal with the, quote, United States, the occupied corporation, to go into their enemy Iraq, break it in 3 pieces, and give a third of it to Saudi Arabia, bordering Kuwait. And that's the line. Fallujah up to the middle of the country, on the western side, right down, sliced by Basra, down. That all goes to Saudi Arabia. The whole south goes to Saudi Arabia. It's an agreed deal. Wesley Clark, the former head NATO general, has been public. None of this is secret. I mean, that's the thing. They think you're so dumb. The globalist all-right white paper is about the whole plan for everything. I remember 15 years ago reading how they were going to come out with tablets that were really computer phones that tracked everything you did, and then they would go to glasses, and then to contacts, and then to brain implants, and that's in the news today. I'm going to get to it. I didn't come up with that. They said it. They're doing it. Everything. I'm just watching them do it. We've got them about 5-10 years behind, depending on the program, where we're exposing what they're doing. I remember 6 years ago, they talked about autonomous drones that pick the targets. That was in MIT papers, and then now it's mainstream news today. I mean, I'm a weirdo. I'm not an expert on Green Bay and the playoffs. I'm not an expert on acting trendy. I do actually read what the world controllers say. And let me tell you, they don't like you, and they're setting up a world that's weaponized. Weaponized police, militarized culture, anti-family, total war against humanity. And you will find out down the road. You can still laugh today, even though we told you everything about the NSA exactly as it then came out, because it was already declassified. It was already public. We told you the police and the military are training together to take on gun owners and conservatives and their own training manuals. That stuff's public. And you're not supposed to get scared of that. You're supposed to go public and say, how dare a bunch of arrogant people militarize our police and use the military against the Tea Party and the NSA against the Associated Press and Fox News and go after pro-life groups and harass them. And how dare the head of the IRS be caught lying? And how dare the head of cybersecurity be caught lying and saying the NSA doesn't spy on anybody domestically? Well, why isn't Clapper in jail? It's all a con game with these desperate criminals robbing the daylights out of us. So many yuppies think, Alex, I've heard this so many times from executives, you name it, academics, you name it. Alex, we know what you're saying is true, okay? Look, it's bad, but if we expose it, it'll bring down the whole system. Agenda 21 is the scientific implosion of the old system. Because even though the old system was corrupt and had problems, it's nothing compared to what they're bringing in. I'm defending the areas of the status quo. What they're bringing in is hell on earth, people, and you don't want this thing to come to fruition. I mean, this is major brinksmanship that I've not left the country. Major chutzpah, bravada, machismo, macho, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'm doing this because my forebears didn't back down from tyranny, and I'm not going to back down. But let me tell you, if you just read the writings of these people that are all public, David Rockefeller, you name it, I mean, it is battle plan written, just like Mein Kampf. Hitler put it all in his book in the late 20s after the Munich beer hall purge and putsch or whatever, and he got thrown in jail for a few years. And he did everything he said he'd do. I'm sitting here reading stuff they wrote 40 years ago that they've now done. Stuff they wrote 15 years ago, they've now done. And, I mean, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. And so many people think you're just going to go along with it and be okay. No. They're counting on you to go along with it. And I just think about my ancestors and your ancestors and how honorable so many of them were compared to today's society, what they would think. And I think about our children and what they're delivering them into. And every statistic shows we are just losing our humanity. Television has swallowed the world, swallowed the culture. There's no more real human interaction. It's manufactured plastic culture injected in to literally poison the brainwashed minds. And I want no part of this. You can say, well, what do I do? It's such a big problem. You realize you do have power, and then as things get worse, your voice will be more important than ever, and you start speaking out, you start saying no. The fact that we can be on over 160 AM and FM stations, the fact that Rand Paul's suing over the NSA, the fact that almost every military person I run into on the street, in uniform or out, is a hardcore listener and is awake. And I'm talking about Navy SEALs, Delta Force, contractors. They all know. They all know that they're going to be screwed in the end. They all know this is a really bad takedown. Folks, we're in trouble. And the compartmentalization is being decompartmentalized by this broadcast and other HUMET intelligence that is organically being developed out of the American resistance against this thing. The fate of the world will be decided here. We will be the fulcrum of evil or the heart of liberty worldwide. We'll be the city on the hill, the shining tower on the hill, or we will be hell released. The battle is happening here, and we have to decide. We have to get involved. We have to break with this fake culture. We have to be leaders. The world's looking for leadership, and you've got to do it. You've got to decide where you stand. Your gut, your spirit, your intellect, the facts, it's all there. Let me show you a few other articles here. I mean, I just showed you mainstream news where Al-Qaeda's taking over and our government's funding them because it's not our government. And they think you're so stupid you can't figure that out. And they're scared of Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and trying to create fake scandals or remove them from office because I know those guys and they're real. Let's go to another article. George Will, in 3 years, New Yorkers will be begging for the return of pre-de Blasio New York City. Yeah, but then the Republicans will come back in and they won't remove any of what was put in place. They'll just be the fake placeholder of, oh, you can run to us to fix it. And here's another article. Walker, Tea Party should lay off establishment Republicans. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker says Tea Party Republicans need to follow the rules. What are the rules? The dictate by the false left paradigm. Tea Partiers should only criticize establishment Democrats and leave establishment Republicans alone. There's this tweet. Scott Walker, Tea Party, the governor. Movement needs to focus on targeting Dems, not Republicans. Oh, really? Why don't you pull up all the big Republican foundations and the National Association of Businesses putting most of their money this year and next year into destroying Tea Party, shutting down Republican candidates. They're the Democrats. They're the same crew, folks. Blue blood rhinos, Karl Rove, all of them are there to act like they're opposition, but actually be commanding the Democrats. And so the whole Republican power structure is doing everything they can to shut down the real Americana libertarian takeover of the Republican Party. Hey, let's take the Democrats over as well. Listen, this isn't a game. This isn't a joke. This is paramilitary economic warfare, 21st century corporate takeover, anti-free market of America, designing a shutdown under Agenda 21 to bankrupt us and bring us under their control. Resist or be a slave. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
All right, we're now into hour number 2. I will open the phones up at the start of the next segment. I'll give the number out. We'll open the phones up then. I would like to get your take on the fact the public's so compartmentalized that you see articles about al-Qaeda taking over major cities in Iraq. Meanwhile, those are Western-backed training camps. And you've got the Iraqi government, even though it was installed by the West, turning against that because they don't want their country being broken in 3 parts. Because the instinct, even of a quasi-corrupt government, is not to destroy everybody. How's that going to work for your family? It takes a really cold-blooded globalist to carry out these type of operations. And they would argue that they're ruthless. That's why they're in control. They're willing to do all of this. I would argue they're mentally ill. I don't care how intelligent they are. That's some of the news that we've already covered here today. I think I've done a pretty good job so far. I'm telling myself that at getting to a large portion of it. I have gotten to 4 of the stacks today. But later in the transmission, after we've taken some of your calls, they've already had British police chiefs that have gone public and pointed this out, but report British crime rates manipulated to seem lower since gun ban. Their crime rates have actually exploded. Their own police chiefs have gone public. You can read these numbers at Breitbart.com, linking to the Ammo Land story. They actually admit here that they don't count a gun crime unless you were convicted. So it doesn't even count those. And, of course, stabbings, muggings, rapes, they're way above the United States. So those are the facts on that front. Also, life-threatening cold bites the U.S. Midwest amongst the global warming, record cold. We're going to be going over those reports as well. Jim Rogers warns Bernanke has set the stage for the Fed's collapse into the new global SDR. That is the plan down the road. And then we've also got the congressman who went off the grid out of Politico, preparing for a collapse of the U.S. That's Roscoe Bartlett. Ever wonder where he went? Well, now there's an article up on Infowars.com. Government SWAT teams target rugged individuals who grow their own food, produce their own electricity. Yeah, wait till we get to that report coming up as well today. And then even Google employees are giving up on Google Glasses, but that doesn't matter. The contact lenses that could do away with TV screens, systems that project images onto the eyeball, to be unveiled next week. This is the beginning of the brain chipping. Remember how long I told you that was coming. It's all been planned out. Smartphones that get even smarter. That means even sneakier. They're really high-tech computers, dialing into everything in your house, even if you disable it, still tracking everything you do. And don't worry, General Wesley Clark's come out. DrudgeReport.com has this article. Get ready for Hillary 2016. Start the fun now. She'll be running against the self-propelled stomach out of New Jersey, the neocon turd. But let's not criticize Republicans that are anti-gun, pro-open border, globalist, like Chris Christie, That's anti-Republican. All that matters is we elect someone with an R before their name, like anti-gun, pro-open border, pro-carbon tax, piece of trash, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, I'm an egomaniac narcissist. Look at me. What an enemy of this republic. What a piece of scrofulous crap. So that's just some of the news that is coming up. Oh, look, Putin backs off demonstration bans in the city where they're having the Olympics coming up in 5 weeks. And again, Putin is a tyrant in many respects because of Western attempts to take the country down. He's also been going after Russian mafia, trying to shut them down. He's actually trying to build a vibrant country. I'm not endorsing him or saying he's a great guy. Just compared to our criminals, he's not bad. Why isn't it world news they banned protests in Dallas anywhere, ended up physically attacking us at the JFK 50th? It's like when they restrict free speech here or make you have a free speech zone 2 miles away where nobody can see you, it's no big deal. But when Putin does it, it's, oh my gosh, let's crap our pants and freak out over it. Oh, he's such a tyrant. It's amazing. We'll be right back. Stay with us, Infowars.com. Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. Toll-free number to join us, 877-789-2539. 877-789-2539. We're live.
KLN, Los Angeles. Clone Radio. We play the songs that sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Clone.
Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. The Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man.
The answer to 1984 is 1776. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
It is the 5th day of January 2014. I am your host, Alex Jones. We're going to have open phones coming up here in mere minutes. The toll-free number to join us on any issue you'd like to cover. First-time callers, long-time callers, callers that disagree, callers that have questions. I want to hear from you. 877-789-2539. 877-789-2539. And expanding on this with Queens of the Stone Age bringing us in, expanding on this news that I covered last hour, the way they've written the guidelines and what they've done in other areas of the world, if you ever went in for depression or were ever told to do psychological screening, they'll say, oh, let me go ahead and put you on some drugs, or let me say you have a psychological designation so your insurance pays for this. They give you one of these fake psychological designations. There's hundreds of them. Opposing government is in the official manual in the U.S. mentally ill. Or you had heat stroke in Vietnam in 1968, and you wonder why you can't buy guns. When you go in, they say, sorry, Nick says you're mentally ill. Some Army psychologist or psychiatrist put that in there, 30-something years ago. You now will have a SWAT team raid. And California was the beta test of this last year. You can look up Bloomberg articles about gun confiscation begins under federal funding. Now it's going nationwide. And they use excuses like the tragedy at Sandy Hook with Adam Lanza, who tried to buy guns 5 times illegally because he was in the real mental health registry. And it didn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't matter what happened right there. It didn't matter if he got him illegally and broke into mommy's gun safe. You have to lose your rights because of him. And they say Duck Dynasty is racist, and their new gun line is bad because they sell semi-autos when semi-autos are used in less than 2% of the crimes. Look it up. Already showed you LA Times and others last hour. But don't let the facts get in the way of your tyranny while the government arms to the teeth. But again, your phone calls are coming up here in just a moment, and we'll intersperse key news and intel on the police state, the economy, and Hillary 2016 coming up during the hour. I wanted to hit this little stack of news. First, this is out of Reuters. Life-threatening cold bites U.S. Midwest. Residents of the Midwestern United States today, that's Sunday, brace for the coldest weather in 2 decades. Temperatures that forecasters warned could be life-threatening. Icy conditions snarled travel across the region, and thousands of flights were canceled or delayed. Some officials preemptively closed schools, and in New York City airport, a plane skidded off the runway into snow days after the Northeast was hammered by the first winter storm of the season. Historic freeze could break Midwest temp records. AP. Coldest air in 20 years to aim at the nation's heartland. And then we move to the New Zealand Herald down by the Antarctic. That's the southern area of the planet for public school educated folks. Forest needed to cover carbon footprint of icy rescue. You've got multiple ice-breaking ships that went down to try to save the environmental tourism ship that went to see the melting Antarctic. That's how they advertise it before it disappears. It's the biggest ever recorded, thickest ice, fastest growing. And they also happen to go to the north of the biggest and fastest growing ever recorded. Doesn't matter. They say that's proof of the global warming, record low temperatures around the world in at least the last 2 decades. And, of course, all the real astrophysicists and meteorologists say it's because the sun is putting out the least amount of output ever recorded. Now, granted, they've only been recording it well for about 60 years. For several hundred, they've tracked sunspots and overall temperature readings. But the sun goes through a cycle. It was in a hot cycle 20 years ago. It's been slowing down for 10 years. The last 5 years, it's been cooling. It flipped polarity 6 days ago, last Monday. The sun actually flipped, not just polarity. It actually rotated. First time ever documented by radio telescopes. But the UN voted 5 years ago to say the sun has no effect on climate. Like water has no effect on fish or air has no effect on humans. Yeah, you just will die without it. The sun's the main driver of heat. I know that's called a conspiracy theory. Being able to tie your shoelaces, if it's not government approved, doesn't exist. If I was staring at the sky and it was blue and I said it was blue, the MSNBC would say it was purple, and it wouldn't matter if it was blue, they'd be right. They control reality. They are God. They are kings. They are the answer. And so now you've got multiple icebreakers stuck in the ice. The other group's already been reached by helicopter and flown another ship. But they've got Greek, they've got Russian, they're all stuck in the ice because of global warming. USA to rescue. U.S. Coast Guard icebreaker asked to assist Antarctic rescue vessels trapped in ice due to the Spirit of Mawson fiasco, as it was known. So there you go. And their answer was to have Al Gore come out and declare that this cold weather is global warming. And the answer is pay his carbon credit company that's already made billions in London, England. It's called Gore and Blood. That's not a pun. He's Al Gore and his partner's last name's Blood. And then and you got the Chicago Mercantile trading this BS that Obama owns part of. If it ever pays out, it's over $200 million. Last time I checked, Obama will get. He signed an executive order last year. Well, not even an executive order. It was a signing statement on another order, applied as an order on microwave oven regulations to raise the carbon cost in the U.S. that's applied to almost everything, a hidden tax, to pay that piece of criminal trash your money and his bloated pig wife and all of the criminals up there at the degenerate compound on Pennsylvania Avenue. Oh, they say middle class and poor people need to have their taxes raised for the earth and to be good commies, but they make tens of millions of dollars off you. How disgusting And the Republican leadership won't go after them because they're part of the same criminal crew, and they're busy with the national associations of broadcasters and the national manufacturing associations and the so-called small business groups, all targeting Tea Parties with their full money, not even Democrats. The Republicans aren't even spending money on Democrats. They're spending money with that traitor, globalist, Karl Rove and the rest of them to destroy anyone who doesn't want to loot this country down to the ground. And don't worry, there's a good chance they're going to win. Because all the local ninny talk show hosts copy whatever the Republican leadership tells them, not even because they've been paid off, but because they think that's what big guys do. You repeat what George Will says. You repeat what Karl Rove says. You repeat what Peter King says, and John McCain. And when you do that, why, you're a winner. You don't have to be intellectual. You don't have to be informed. You don't have to know anything. You just tune in to mainline Republican radio or print, and you vomit out what they say, and maybe you'll get a column in a local publication once a month and get no money, and maybe you'll get to be on local radio sometimes, and then that's what you do is rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. Oh, we can't impeach Obama. Oh, we can't repeal Obamacare. Oh, we can't repeal the gun laws. We can't do anything because we can't let real republic restitution and restoration happen through the Constitution and through the states when we have the majority, when all of our policies are popular and common sense and Congress has a 6% approval rating. They've got to sell a giant galactic-sized fraud that the Tea Party is discredited and libertarians are discredited. And oh my gosh, Rand Paul shouldn't be in the Senate. And let's get rid of all these horrible people that don't want to fund Al-Qaeda and don't want to have the NSA spy on us and don't want to have open borders and don't want to have Obamacare and don't want to have government run everything. I mean, these are horrible people. They're not being reasonable. They're not working with us. These people are traitors. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table. And the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides. pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
By the way, I should add, this hour is brought to you by the best storable foods company out there that I've found, delicious and easy to prepare, put together with GMO-free crops, storable for 25 years. MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex to find their specials. MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex. And it's so important when they want everybody on welfare and on food stamps to realize that they want us dependent on them. MyPatriotSupply.com/Alex to get high-quality storable food. And then briefly, we have InfoWarsLife.com with the Survival Shield with nascent iodine. And we also have the Fluoride Shield that has 5 other compounds with the nascent iodine to detoxify the body, pull the fluoride, all the rest of the garbage out, to block the radioactive isotopes. See the information, see the videos, see the factoids at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com, or call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 888-253-3139. And your purchases make the transmission possible. We have InfoWars, Wake Up America, Incredible Arabica, Volcanic, High Mountain, Southern Mexico, Chiapas Coffee, Beyond Fair Trade, and 2 different medium roast blends. My favorite coffee is getting rave reviews. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And don't forget InfoWarsStore.com for all the Patriot apparel to spread the word and wake folks up and meet like-minded people, and all the books, the films, the videos. All the best items, the films and books that I've made or written or that I support are at InfoWarsStore.com. All right, balance of the show. Got a few other news items I haven't hit, but we'll get to those. The persecution of farmers and others with paramilitary police and zoning boards. We're going to get to that coming up. But right now, your phone calls. We've got loaded phone lines here, all 12 phone lines loaded as usual. We're going to go to Eric, John, Eric, Terry, Lori, Truth, Neil, Nancy, Troy, Chris, Chase, Frank, and others. Eric in New Jersey, you're on the air worldwide.
Hello, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you? I just want to tell you, you're really admired in New Jersey. I found you through when you went on Howard Stern, and I just loved your Piers Morgan.
Let me just say this. I've gotten more love and listeners going on Howard Stern than going on shows like Piers Morgan. His show's not big, Piers Morgan, but it got picked up nationally that I was on there. I mean, I've never contacted Howard again. I hear he talks about me all the time. In fact, I tuned in once and heard him doing it. I need to contact Howard Stern next week, get back on that show.
You need to get back with him.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. Let me tell you, I've experienced it. That show is big.
The reach of his audiences.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Well, I've always been a radio fan, to be honest with you. And, there's not been anything on television. The last thing I could think of was Frasier that stimulated any level of intellectual anything. with writers, producers, and here we are with this reality TV. I can't watch anything, and I found you, and I'm glad. My question for you, sir, is going forward, hoping to have some level of resistance, exercise our right to gather and complain about this government. How do you see that working out when we're blocked every step from on the web, trying to plan something, gathering? The press is certainly going to not be on our side. Roadblocks being set up once numbers are heading towards the White House. That's pretty much my question.
I appreciate you calling in. Let me try to answer that. The system with all its technology and all our tax money cannot put their fraud back together again like Humpty Dumpty. We have the moral authority. Look at how they're demonizing the real Tea Party, not the establishment Republicanoid Tea Party that tried to take over the last 5 years. Look at how Peter King says, get Rand Paul out of the Senate. Look at how they're trying to dig up dirt, crooked toenails on Ted Cruz. It's not that these guys are even perfect. None of us are. It's that they're real opposition. The system wouldn't be trying to silence us and wouldn't be trying to shut us down and wouldn't be trying to spy on the Associated Press and Congress if the criminals were in a good position. They just put on a big confidence act. We just keep marching against them, supporting real media, supporting alternative media, supporting politicians that are being attacked, supporting real libertarian-type Republicans. I'm sorry, there's really no Democrats I can think of that are actually doing it. I mean, Rosa Corey, who fights at 1021, she's a Democrat, or used to be. I mean, the Democrats are the cutting edge of the New World Order. The Republicans play the part of the opposition. They're just loyal. You figure out it's like the guy that takes a dive in a Don King fight. I mean, look at how professional boxing is a shadow of what it used to be, all because Don King dominated the sport with his mafia connections. That's on record. But still, people just don't watch it now, and they may still run it, but the racket's a shadow of its former self. UFC, I know folks on the inside, that's not rigged. That's the real deal. So it's incredibly popular. Let me tell you, that's real when somebody kicks another person, their leg breaks. I mean, they're not faking that, brother. That's why it's so popular. People want reality. I know Dana White, I know Joe Rogan, all of them. That stuff's real, folks. That stuff's real. And that's what people want, is reality. Not corporate plastic BS. Reality is what's coming back into style. So just remember, we have the high ground. That's why the system's coming after us. Let's go to another caller quick here. Let's talk to John in Michigan. John in Michigan, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
I'm calling to mention this. I've been listening for a while to the show, and I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything about Operation American Spring, put together by the Patriots for America, spearheaded by Colonel Riley, Harry Riley, retired U.S. Colonel?
No, I haven't heard about that. I know Al Gore called for an American Spring like the CIA, Saudi Arabian staged al-Qaeda takeover of the Middle East with the Muslim punk brotherhood. But I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But they're trying to put radical Muslims in everywhere to persecute good Muslims, good Christians, and others. So it's truly disgusting. But give me more info on it.
All right, this is retired Colonel Harry Riley. He's from Crestview, Florida, and it's a 3-phase operation, and he wants to implement it on May 16th, 2014, in D.C. And it's just a call to like patriots and retired military, especially with Obama's purging of the senior military. I don't know. They're all worried of martial law. You know, he may like do something like that.
Sure. Well, here's the deal. We're already in martial law when they have warrantless checkpoints and TSA and warrantless wiretapping. They don't want us to ever know that we're already in a level of martial law. We're already in the cooking pot. Bubbles are forming at the bottom. But there's always silver bullets to go march on D.C. D.C. is just a place where they buy off the politicians. Northcom, Cheyenne Mountain, places like that's where the government's really run. But I do think marching, demonstrating any resistance is victory. It's a process. But the biggest thing is supporting farmers markets, getting out of the system, not complying with bureaucrats, being on the offense and the defense. offensively exposing them while preparing a defense, defending the Second Amendment while digging in. I mean, this is a war. People want to know what the fall of America would look like. This is it. Enemy foreign corporations, not just some Hitler or Stalin or King George III, but corporate interests and a corporate takeover, already in control of the government, the Federal Reserve, the tax money, using tax money to deindustrialize the country, doing everything they can to dumb us down, concern us with sports, petty garbage. More calls coming up. My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with Nascent Iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent Iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of Nascent Iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent Iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality Nascent Iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
So many people want a magic bullet to defeat tyranny. It's a billion different bullets that'll bring it down. It's changing ourselves inside and then changing the world around us. It's a process. But I was thinking about today, what is most important in this fight is learning about the enemy, learning about globalism, private corporations, the robber barons of Europe, the United States. About 150 years ago, they've written books, publications, we've covered it on air, where they said there's no way to keep control of Europeans and Americans. How do we do it? Well, we get control of education. We dumb them down. We create a welfare system in the name of speaking to their Christian charity to take care of the poor. We grow a giant underclass that is controlled by us. We then make them the civil servants, and we overthrow the middle class and even the nouveau riche wealthy and bring in our absolute tyranny. And again, they exempt themselves under globalism from the rules they put over you. So it's the ultimate form of discrimination. They restrict free speech in the name of banning racism. The list goes on and on. So the biggest issue is realizing that when I say America has been occupied by select corporate anti-free market monopoly interest, that's what they call themselves, is corporatist monopoly men. And they are creating basically dog training systems where the corporations, the companies, all of it is about data mining you, tracking you as a tool of control. And then being able to identify who you are and then basically retaliate against you. And for the average person out there, so many men I talk to are intelligent. They say, man, I'm not getting my head up. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm just going to make money. That's why you're enslaved, is because all of you feel like you don't have to go all the way. Now, a lot of people like Chuck Norris and Nolan Ryan, I mean, I know both those guys. I know their families. I've talked to them. Norris has been on the show many times. Norris puts me weekly, sometimes in his column in WorldNet Daily. I know he knows about it all. I know he listens almost every day. But I'm so radical, see, he won't go that far, even though he knows it. Same thing with Nolan Ryan. And I'm just throwing two names out I was thinking about today. I was thinking about all the listeners we've got. So many of them. More famous than Chuck Norris or Nolan Ryan. Oh, yeah. I mean, incredibly famous. Famous retired senators, retired Congress people, big movie stars, bigger than Chuck Norris, huge musicians, as big as it gets, as big as it gets. I mean, that's why I admire people like Mike Judge. He's come on the show and says he's a listener, but he's worried about retaliation for being politically active and not being a communist. But you've got to buck up against that. For every person that comes on, there's at least 10 famous people that contact me over the years but are afraid to go on the air. The star of Die Hard is a listener of the show and has spoken out against the New World Order and says both parties are controlled and that he's woken up, Bruce Willis. But again, Bruce, you can't just go give one speech or talk to Vanity Fair. You have to fight these people. You have to not be friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger anymore because he's anti-gun, pro-open border, pro-carbon tax. I mean, you have to decide, folks, you want to work with the New World Order or do you want to defeat it? And I'm talking to FBI agents, police, bureaucrats, school teachers, all of you. You got to start not going with the system and actively, politically sabotaging it and not playing ball with it. I mean, it comes down to that. We are the majority. The average person wants freedom, but they're scared. And they always say, I'm so glad you're out there, and I'm so glad that you're willing to speak out, Alex. We're glad you're there. Look at Viggo Mortensen. He's a listener. I tell my crew, we only did it a few times, randomly go to L.A., and go to one of these public events where a Hollywood star is and say, hi, we're here with Alex Jones, half the time they walk over or more and say, I'm a listener, but I don't want to come on. Only every once in a while is it a Viggo Mortensen or somebody like that who says, oh, yeah, I want to come on and talk about it. And again, it's not that it matters that they're a Hollywood star. It matters with the people that are into that so that we have real solidarity against tyranny. And I'm not here name-dropping names, ladies and gentlemen. The point is that society's degenerating, and you see them trying to take down people that'll go after the NSA. Their lives are in danger. I'll tell you right now, Rand Paul's for real, trying to sue the NSA, standing against him. His life's in danger. My life's in danger. We're committed here. And the average yuppie goes, oh, you're a fool. No, I'm not a fool. You're a fool. And my ancestors weren't like your ancestors that rolled over to every bully. Because we know paying the bully off only leads to rack and ruin. Look, listen, I'd give in a little bit and wouldn't be so hardcore against a boss hog type system that's corrupt but doesn't want to destroy everything. This system wants to destroy everything. It's a very evil force. The New World Order, Agenda 21, globalist program is not a game, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something you play games with. That's why I have no fear of my life, no fear of my name, nothing. I don't care what they do to me. I'm not looking forward to it. But let me tell you, I'm committed to this if it meant 10 years being tortured in a jail cell. I'm ready. I am not signing on with these people. Let's take one phone call. Next segment coming up, but I went too long. And we'll come back and go to break. Let's go to Eric in New Jersey. You're on the air. Go ahead. Come on, Eric. You're on the air, brother.
How are you, Alex?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
All right. I'd like to talk about what you were talking about earlier about the psychotropic drugs and their effect on especially the young people of America.
Yeah, they've got 20% of kids on psychotropics. None of them will ever be able to own a gun. They put the kids on drugs, the school orders it, and then now you'll never be able to own a gun, never be allowed to have a good job. They're wrecking our children, institutionalizing them from the beginning. Not telling the parents it's the red dye and the GMO and the processed sugar. No, give them all that, and then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Exactly. I'm 25 years of age. About 10 years ago, I was caught smoking cigarettes in the high school bathroom. I was sent to the principal's office where they had a police officer there. I was a little bit apprehensive, and their solution to the problem was to send me to a psychiatrist.
No, that's it. No, listen. That's what they do to everybody. It's get you in the system. Go ahead. They're drug dealers.
From there on, for about 10 years, I've been on psychotropics. They keep me relatively stable, but if I go off them, I feel like a freaking mental patient.
Oh, no, that's on record that's what it does going. So they took you for cigarettes, put you on psychotropics. So for tobacco, they put you on something in the hallucinogen family. Now they've rewired your brain. Now they've got control of you.
Exactly. I also have a college degree now, and I work for $10 an hour at a paint store.
Oh, that's right. Listen, 90+% of the college jobs, you're never getting a job to pay it off. It's all a Ponzi scheme fraud. The robots are being rolled out to replace everybody in the factories, the cars, the truck drivers. It's over, folks. If the globalists have their way, it's a post-human world.
I'm just lucky I have a job right now, though. I'm just grateful I live in America and have anything.
No, I hear you. They're trying to destroy America, brother. But at least have they disbarred you from gun ownership yet? Because that's coming now.
My father, unfortunately, passed away about a year ago. He had a Ruger. I have it in my nightstand at home to protect my mother. I'm the only child.
So terrorist for a son to protect their mother. Well, here's the deal. Everybody that's been put in the system for no reason, they're about to database all your data and not let you buy guns. So folks better get guns now any way they can legally before they put the registration in. Go ahead.
I understand that. So, I'm just lucky I have a job, as I said, and I'm trying to buy a small acreage of property out in western New Jersey, maybe build myself a house with my wage, And,
now, sir, is that house under Agenda 21? Because if you're not on the grid, we're going to find something wrong with your zoning and shut you down, you American pig. We're going to shut you down. Armored vehicles are coming. That's right. Zoning departments are getting armored Iraq war wagons with SWAT teams. I've got that article coming up. And the rest of your phone calls, stay with us. Follow me on Twitter at RealAlexJones. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products, and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Peter King says we should spy on Congress. They may be with Al-Qaeda. That sounds asinine, but actually Peter King is with Al-Qaeda, supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria and other areas. So the guy saying look out for Al-Qaeda is actually involved with them, just like Senator John McCain. And it's perfect. And they take our rights because of the Al-Qaeda threat they helped create. Here's Politico magazine, the congressman who went off the grid, Roscoe Bartlett, 20 years on Capitol Hill. Now he lives in a remote cabin in the woods, worried about our power grid, depression, and more. And here's an article up on Infowars.com. by Mac Slavo, excellent article. Government SWAT teams target rugged individuals, that's in quote, who grow their own food, produce their own electricity. And folks, I see this even in Central Texas. They won't give you a permit for your own solar system. And the bureaucrats see it in Travis County, they'll come harass you. But if you hook it into the power grid and it's under their control, then you can get a rebate. And it's got photos here from California and other states where armored nuisance abatement team with armed SWAT officers visits people with no warrants. If they don't like the color of their paint, they want to put a meter on their well, whatever. This is the harassment. And this is Agenda 21. This is what Agenda 21 is, ladies and gentlemen. It's a global corporate system selectively to shut down all businesses that they don't own and control. To shut down farmers, you name it. And only let Big Agra operate, where they use the cities as overtax command bases to then launch bureaucrats out to take over. That's it. Soviets did it as well. This is basically a Soviet-style takeover with the Soviet-style system looting for offshore banks who want to make you poor so they can socially engineer you. And that's the facts. And a lot of fathers look at their sons and say, I know Alex is right, but I'm going to keep groveling to the system and go along with it. You're going to put your kid on vaccines and give them drugs and let them watch NFL all day instead of giving them the truth because you really don't care. You're a lazy pile of crap. I understand that, for those that don't care. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Terry in Washington. Thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Yeah, Alex, can you hear me good?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I'm getting ready to fire off an email to Kurt.
Yeah, your phone's breaking up a little. You're going to fire an email off to Kurt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is known as 311. And it's a breaking story. And I vetted the guy that...
Okay, well, tell us your story real quick.
Okay. Anyway,
I got to let you go, Terry. Appreciate it. We don't really screen the calls, folks, but you got to just get the point out there. All right, I'm just almost out of time. Lori in Wisconsin, you're on the air with the record global warming temperatures, the lowest recorded in 20 years. Go ahead, Lori.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good, good. Welcome.
God bless you. What I want to say is people really need to start waking up. The alarm's going off, and you got to stop hitting the snooze button because this is right up in your face.
You're right. The system is in your face. What do you want to talk about today?
I was watching a program this morning, and they were talking about the D-Wave quantum computer, which is in Utah for artificial intelligence.
Yes, and it's learning off of watching humans, and this is what they use to break encryption.
Right. And they were saying that there's also a biometric testing lab there that is already doing the face scans and the iris scans in your eye.
Sure, they only tell you about that now. They've had face scanning on the streets for 20 years. They probably already have AI computers. So they only tell you about it once it's old technology.
Right. How long has that been out? For the last 20 years, the D-Wave?
Yes, ma'am. It's just that it's all so illegal that they just, even the cops don't know this stuff's there. Then they roll it out to them later once it's in place. They've taken our money, our research, our data to build a giant criminal system.
Right. They even said that DARPA was involved funding it also.
Yeah, that's what Eisenhower warned of. DARPA was funding 90% of research in 1960, or what precursed it. And so it allows them to choose the development of society, choose what companies get the funds, choose not just the color of the street signs, but down to how computers work. They are engineering an artificial world playing God. I appreciate your call. And the caller before her, I wasn't trying to be rude. If somebody resets like 4 times, we don't screen your calls. We just got to get to the next person. If you have show tips, I'm sure it's interesting. Send it to showtips@infowars.com. Okay, I waited to get the calls till later, so I need to just get to the point, go to the next person. Thank you, Lori. Let's talk to Neil in Wisconsin. Neil, you're on the air. Welcome.
Alex, first-time caller. I'm going to hit my points kind of rapid fire here. So I'm going to say this. I don't own a TV. I don't have any video games. I don't waste my time with that. People, they need to get out in the public, do some protesting. Then you'll meet like-minded people,
And then you figure out who you can run for City Hall. Like G. Edward Griffin said, don't complain to City Hall, be City Hall. And then 3 books cured my apathy. I'd say The Creature from Jekyll Island, 1984, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I want to give a shout-out to my mom. She was a info warrior back in her day. She kept me out at all vaccines as much as possible, said it was against her religion. And so I really don't get headaches or get sick. And then, one thing I was wanted to say was, if you don't really want to get involved, get out there in the doors, have money, the fiat currency stuff. I was thinking you can get a custom-made stamp and stamp on their InfoWars and the Fed. It's kind of like the Where's George concept.
Exactly, and I'm now seeing stores trying to not even take $20 bills. They want to phase cash out. Great points. God bless you. Great caller, getting right to his points. Let me say something about what he was bringing up there. All we have to do is stop complying with the system, and it will come down. It needs our compliance to get all this through. And imagine this. In Austin, where I live, they have the city buses with code enforcers now in California Highway Patrol uniforms, basically. Tan and blue uniforms. They're very imperious, very arrogant, selectively enforce. This is Agenda 21. This is federally funded. And now all over, they're getting armored vehicles and SWAT teams for the code enforcers. Government is weaponized. Government is preparing for war with us. Government is spying on us illegally. Government is running Al-Qaeda. Government is a hijacked criminal group now. Do you understand this, folks? They are training for the total collapse because they engineered it. Now, the average military code enforcer doesn't even know this. They buy into whatever bull and it's a paycheck. But man, and they watch 24 and imagine they're these superheroes when they're literally working for the Antichrist. Let's talk to Nancy in Missouri. Nancy, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hello there, Alex. First, I want to say I'm sorry about your uncle.
Oh, thank you. He was a very great man, a patriot, but he's gone on to be with the Lord.
Okay. What I wanted to talk about was movies. Over Christmas break, I saw Catching Fire, the new Hunger Games movie, and I saw Elysia. And I know you talk about how movies are trying to tell us, get our minds for the new world order.
Got to acclimate us. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, acclimate us, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's something I saw in both these movies I don't think maybe you thought about, is in both those movies, there's a resistance, and the people, the common people, the everyday people win. They're going to win, and eventually in the Hunger
there's
Games.
No doubt that Hunger Games is an anti-New World Order libertarian idea. In the new one, Catching Fire, they even have the very armored vehicle that the zoning people are getting, the Iraq War Wagon. It's that exact vehicle in the movie.
Yeah, and I was thinking, how Charles Dickens, his books changed the thinking of 19th century England towards poor people, and I'm wondering if some of these movie writers and screenwriters and everything aren't trying to get people to think, yeah, here's what they're going to do to us, but you can stand up, you can resist.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Elysium because it kind of has an Obamacare message, but it has some positive messages as well. Secret technology, life extension, what the global government's about. Undoubtedly, Hunger Games does have a positive message. The Marxists have tried to hijack it, but I don't think that's what's happening with the film. Great points, ma'am. Thank you for calling, Nancy. God bless you. Let's go to Troy in Utah. I'm going as quick as I can here. Troy, go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, a couple of things. One, I just wanted to throw at you a new way to refer to the mainstream media.
The collaborator, trader media? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's about right, but I was thinking we should refer to them as they are. They're being used as weapons of mass deception.
I agree. It's the state-run weaponized media.
Yeah, and they're used to deceive us in mass. Another thing, I've tried to get on a few times to let you know, Ray Kurzweil is actually speaking out against fluoridation of water.
I didn't know that. Ray thinks he's going to live forever and is a top globalist, but I didn't know he was speaking out against water fluoridation. Look into that, folks. But that's very interesting. I'm not even saying all these globalists are pure evil. Some of them are deceived. I apologize to the other callers. I tried to go quick. I'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing. Pray for us. 11 a.m. Central with the weekday transmission. Infowars.com for the free iPhone apps and more. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common